Hello and welcome to my channel, Ayo's Designs. Today I'm going to be doing a speed draw and coloring of whatever image first comes to mind for me to do for this video. So right now I'm just sketching out the images that I want to do. I've decided to do two characters on this one sheet of paper. I may or may not do a background. I probably won't do a background, but to start off with, I've decided that the first character is going to be Inuyasha. He's got his arms crossed. He's going to be somewhat confrontational with the other character. Who the other character is, I've decided is going to be female, but not from the same show. I'm thinking somebody from a different show. And they're going to be more shocked than angry, maybe a bit baffled, because even though Inuyasha is being confrontational, it doesn't mean he's being aggressive. Really, he's more curious than anything. Why not have it be, let's say, a Sailor Scout, one of the girls from Sailor Moon? That'd be fun. I enjoy thinking and looking at ideas that people can come up with for a crossover between those two series. Inuyasha is a wonderful series, one of my favorite anime. Sailor Moon is as well. I grew up watching Sailor Moon actually, and it has a nice little soft spot in my squishy organs that I hold for it. Let's see. I'm going to make sure that they don't look too stiff. Alright, so the sketching's coming along pretty well. I gotta add in some more of the features such as their hair, and then I'll do the outfits and such. Thing is, though, I'm doing this mostly from memory, so I'm probably going to be missing some details or altering some details that end up making them mix up with how they looked early on, along with how they look later on in the series, depending. Like, I know their color schemes and I know their outfits and whatever because I do pay attention to those kind of things, and I have drawn them a couple of times before. Inuyasha more so than Sailor Moon characters. So I have his details pretty well memorized and know from practice experience of how to draw him out. Sailor Mini Moon, aka Chibiusa, aka Rini, not so much. Though I have drawn her plenty of times before. Just not nearly as much as I have Inuyasha. So I'm trying to remember how exactly her Sailor Scout uniform looks. I'm not sure. I think I want to do the all pink one. I might mess up on the details a bit though, or the coloring. I just remember that it was pretty much pink and red with a little yellow here and there. I think I got the right sort of sleeves for the all pink skirt that she has. Her weapon, on the other hand, I'm having a hard time remembering what the rod looks like because I'm pretty sure she had a rod at one point, and it's just not looking right here. So I'm coming back to that later and focus on doing some more of Inuyasha's details just for a bit. Then again, I think I figured out what exactly I could do. She had a heart-shaped weapon, as I recall. So I'll use that instead because trying to do the rod ones, just they weren't looking right in her hand. They looked like looked kind of like adult toys, let's say. Yeah, so they look a little too much like that as I was sketching it out. And that's not what we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Okay, so I need to have Inuyasha's outfit appropriately baggy. His hair looks like it's about the right length. I gotta get his sleeves all good. And about Inuyasha is while I like his outfit, his clothes are just so baggy like because they're like the traditional robes. And so it's like I want to make sure that he still looks good in them like he does in the actual series, but also showcase like the small little details that show that he actually has a trim figure, such as the cinch-in at where the bow is for, I guess it's something like a belt. Their expressions were pretty fun to make. Rini's more so than Inuyasha's, because Inuyasha's, I had to make his seem more like a skeptical expression, like curious and skeptical of what she is, and he's like leaning into her. I think I messed up height wise because she's still a kid, while he's an older teenager, so she should be shorter than him, which she is, but I don't think I made her short enough. But I've got all these details in now, so it's coming pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and ink it in. I'm not going to record myself inking it and just do it. See, here we go. All nice and inked in. I actually missed a couple details such as his slave beads, also known as the subjugation beads. So I went ahead and drew those in and inked them in as well, just so that I wouldn't forget them later. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and start with coloring of this image. I've got to pick out a bunch of color pencils though, the type of colors. I forgot to do that beforehand. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm also going to use a sheet of paper in order to put down like the hue and the shade of the colors to see which ones I want to use for each character in regards to their skin tone and the colors of their outfits, just to make sure that it comes out looking the way that I want to. So I'm just going to dive right into that. While I'm coloring this, I'm going to talk more about the crossover itself, because it is a very fun crossover. I know I'm not the first to think of it. The idea's been around for some years yet. I would say for over a decade or so, there's been ideas for Sailor Moon and Inuyasha crossovers. How well the ideas are put forth and shared is another matter, because the majority of fan fictions I've come across with a crossover between the two series are not very good, either plot-wise, story-wise, character-wise, or grammar-wise, if not a mixture of two or more of those, or all of the above, which is pretty sad because there's a lot of potential with it. Because we've got the Sailor Scouts who could obviously be in Kagome's time period, and somehow, some way, you can have them interact with Kagome and Inuyasha, or with the entire Inu gang in the past. It just depends on how it is that you go about the idea. For those of you who have taken a look at my previous videos, you know I have at least two videos that showcases a Sailor Moon crossover, one of which is my Magical Girl Sango animatic, where Sango transforms into a magical girl like a Sailor Scout would, and my other one where I decided that I wanted to have Serena, aka Usagi, take Kagome's place in going to the past, where I recreated the scene in just 4 drawings of when Kagome met Inuyasha still bound to the tree while he was awake, with instead Serena. And I dubbed it over with a different audio as well for laughs, really, because that's what was in my mind. So that's one take. Another take, other than one of the Sailor Scouts just taking Kagome's place, if not ending up going there sometime after Kagome's been going there for a short while, or however long you want to do it, is Inuyasha running into the Sailor Scouts during one of his jaunts through the city while Kagome is at school or otherwise occupied. Because, as we all know, for those of us who've watched Inuyasha, despite Kagome's best efforts in keeping him isolated and away from everyone else in her time, wanting to keep him just stuck at her place, if not back on the other side of the well, Inuyasha kind of do what he wants, and he leaves anyway, sometimes at the request of Kagome's own mother to do a little errand or to take something to Kagome or to find her for one reason or another. And he's had his own little adventures in the city, such as rescuing people from burning buildings and uh, preparing for a fight with cars. And of course, one of my favorites punching out a guy with a gun just after he robbed a bank and deciding that there was some danger to Kagome's time after all. Although I lied, my actual favorite is when he saved that little girl from a burning building, and she clearly would be remembering that incident for the rest of her life. So, this, I would say, Inuyasha ran into either the scouts or just Mini Moon while either they confused him for an enemy or he came upon them as they transformed to fight an enemy. One or the other. And so Inuyasha, not knowing really what's going on and who exactly he should fight, is observing and ready to help out if need be. But then when he has a moment, he approaches one of them, which ends up being the youngest, Mini Moon, and asking if she's some kind of witch after witnessing what they were doing. Because he can tell that they're not demons with his sense of smell, but clearly they can't really be human. For the most part, none of them seem to display the sort of powers of a holy woman, such as what Kagome has, having priestess or Miko powers, even though she's completely untrained and doesn't really know how to use them, and instead relies on Deus Ex Machinas and luck in order to get the job done with her abilities. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much the idea for this crossover. And Minnie Moon, of course, is shocked that she's being asked if she's a witch, because as far as I am aware, that's not anything any of them has ever been accused of being. Plus, they're also pretty well known and popular, with their reputation of being heroes, and even Sailor Moon, but primarily Sailor Venus, known as Sailor V to media, having games and being, just well known for people to idolize and want to be like or whatever. So to have somebody who not only not knows who they are, but looks as if feature-wise he should be one of the enemies, but not attacking them, wondering if she's a witch, would be kind of baffling, I think. So that's the idea behind what I'm drawing here. And it's not one of my favorite ideas. It's just one I kind of came up with on the fly for this video because I wasn't sure of what to draw at first. It actually took me a minute, and I decided I wanted to do an Inuyasha crossover, but then I just still wasn't sure and was like, forget it, I'll wing it. And this is what happened. My favorite crossover idea is actually between Inuyasha and Rosario Vampire, because I believe that one has possibly the biggest potentials crossover wise, because Kagome, for whatever reason, believes that there are no demons in her time. And it would make sense, if you do a crossover with it, for her to believe that, when in the Rosario Vampire universe, demons in the same sort of time period that Kagome is in are hiding from humans. They're hiding their abilities, they're hiding their looks to look more human, and they're even attending a school in order to be able to pass themselves off better as humans to blend in. And enough about that, we're focusing on the Sailor Moon crossover. So, I don't know if any of you have your own crossover ideas for Inuyasha. If you do, I would be happy to hear about them, especially if it's in regards to Sailor Moon, since that is the crossover topic of this video. And, well, I would say that I actually have ideas for shipping between the Inuyasha cast and the Sailor Moon cast, primarily for like the males, because I'm kind of tired of the focus being on Kagome for any and all crossovers most of the time. It's very aggravating because she is not even the best character of the show. She's not even the best female character. Best female character, in my opinion, is Sango. She is literally a female warrior princess who literally slays demons and can hold her own against them. She is the best, and she's also not obnoxious or overly annoying or holier than thou or whatever. She's pretty sensible, except for when she goes pretty crazy determined in regards for her brother, but that's understandable because that's her last living relative. That's her only living blood, and he's being controlled by a crazy half demon. Anyway, rather like how Inuyasha turned out here. Went really well. He had to do like 2 or 3 different shades of red in order to get it looking properly nice and vibrant like. It still turned out good. So next is Sailor Mini Moon's turn to have her colors in. And I picked out a bunch of pinks and a couple of shades of red that look a bit more dark pink-like than red, but whatever. It still works, I say. I'm just going to go ahead and color that in. So, I don't know, I actually have an idea for Sailor Mini Moon to be shipped with Shippo. I actually have a sketch drawn out already for the 2 of them that I'll show later. What do you guys think? Would you like to see some of the sketches that I have drawn out, or the pictures that I've colored to crossovers, even if it's not just Sailor Moon crossovers, just crossovers between Inuyasha and other stuff? I also think I'll do another video just talking more about the Inuyasha and Rosario Vampire crossover. Because, spoilers, my favorite is Mizure, and I want to ship Mizure with Inuyasha, because I think that would be very nice. Who I'd ship with Inuyasha for Sailor Moon crossover is actually a toss-up between Amy and Makoto, also known as Lita, also known as Sailor Jupiter. So Sailor Mercury or Sailor Jupiter, those are the 2 that I think would go best with Inuyasha personality-wise and how I believe they might interact with one another. Let's see my post about that on DeviantArt or even on Tumblr or even on my Sailor Moon Inuyasha crossover with Serena being the one to meet Inuyasha by Tree, because I actually inserted the 2 images showing him with first Amy and then with Jupiter. I think that's the order I put it, and the reasons for why I think a ship between them could work if you'd like to see. The other thing, though, is, well, I'm not even sure what to even really say, honestly. I'm just kind of putting all my thoughts out there in regards to this. I'm really liking how it's coming along, though. It looks nice for something that I just did off the top of my head for the video. I will say, however, that I'm very happy that I was able to record the entirety of me drawing and coloring this image, because the last time I tried to do a speed art video, it was speed painting, and I was recording myself painting a commission painting that I had, but my camera on my phone was just not acting right. It kept stopping in the middle of recordings without me noticing, and also was not even recording some of the time. Like, it would delete what it recorded, or I was unable to save some of the recordings and ended up just losing a lot of video. So you're only able to see like some of my first process with the painting, and then had to do with a couple of pictures that I managed to remember to take of my process with it. But this has the whole recording from start to end, with the blank sheet of paper as I'm sketching on it, to now as it's ending as I'm coloring it in, with even my little color palette scrap sheet of paper to show the different colors that I put down to check and see which colors I would like to use in the actual drawing. I think it's all turning out pretty nicely. And decided on a whim to give Sailor Mini Moon heart-shaped highlights on her pigtails. I think it looks cute. I think I got across the feeling that I want with it. If you guys enjoy, please make sure to subscribe and follow. I have other medias as well, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.